Why is BASF here? Because of the cement hub. What they manufacture goes into construction chemicals. This very exciting connect. And in our own industrial park. Hunga, a lady entrepreneur, came up and gave her experience, MSME, Mittelstand. And I was so delighted when she said, I want to expand. She came and met the Honorable Chief Minister and said, I want to expand. Of course, we had two other big German companies, one with 6-member delegation, came and met the Honorable Chief Minister, saying, we already have 3,000 people. We want to expand further. So the environment there was wonderful. And I must say, it's not only Narendra, not only Mr. Paul from Tata's, but Cyrus Mistry, I believe, according to newspapers, said very positive opportunities exist in Bengal. I read that in the newspaper. I'm assuming that's right. So right from the top to those who are operationally functioning in Bengal, I heard the voices across the sectors. Therefore, I conclude by just submitting to you some suggestions, most humbly. Can this chamber, the great chamber, Bengal chamber, adopt an ITI? At least one, if not more. Give us your plan. So that 100% placement. When you take an ITI, you change the curriculum to suit the industrial process and produce 100% placement. My point too, what about adopting a polytechnic? Can the chamber adopt a polytechnic and produce 100% placement? A lot of girls and boys are going there. Tell us which polytechnic. You can take your time, maybe 15 days. That's good enough. And we will send you tomorrow a list of the ITIs and polytechnics that you can adopt. And take 2 weeks and tell us which would you like to adopt, if you agree. I say this most humbly. Your city of analytics was proposed under Ambarish Babu's presidentship. As you said, it's still work in progress. Let's conclude it. What do we need there? We need an anchor investor. Land is available, no problem. Kollani is now very close to the airport, relatively speaking. You can get there in 1.5 hours when that part of the highway is done, perhaps in an hour and 15 minutes time. You have the triple IT there in Kollani. You have the Kollani University. So the critical mass is developing. So I would request Shutanu to take that up, Mr. Ghosh. City of Analytics. I think you've constructed an ITI there. The Webble ITI has been constructed by you. Come and give us a big push in the analytics park, because it was Bengal Chamber which initiated the idea of big data and analytics. That's my third suggestion. Fourth, would you want to focus on food processing, fisheries, poultry and animal husbandry? Extremely employment generating. And of course, if possible, textiles and garments. These are where jobs will be created quickly, low-hanging fruits. Would the chamber take this up with us at a focus? We are moving forward, but we need your push. And finally, of course, the maritime revolution is about to happen in Bengal, as you yourself said. Give us a push on that. Because a port will involve many, many connected nodes in which a chamber can participate. And of course it will require funding. So Bandhan Bank chairman is here. So, and not to the government, but to the concessionaires who come and want to build the port. And my last and final point, would the chamber want to create a GST cell for the corporates? Let me tell you, the corporates will have to do a lot of work, just as government will have to do. But we are relatively well prepared, because we have been working on GSTN, which is the network, for the last 2.5 years. One of the Apex chambers said in my meeting in Delhi of Empowered Committee that we are not ready. Very serious. I would request Bengal Chamber of Commerce and Industry, with its intellectual capabilities, to create a cell for corporates to handhold them into moving to GST whenever that happens. Not only the intellectual part of it, but the operational part of it. That would be huge help to your membership. Already I am told Imami, I saw in the newspaper, has appointed PricewaterhouseCoopers, one of the big four, to help them to do this. That means corporates are realizing that they will have to move forward. So could you create a cell that will help your membership, your associated people? How do you handle GST? Perhaps the world's largest reform in terms of size. So it is my great pleasure to be here, and thank you for inviting me. And the entrepreneurs who got the awards today, you are the heart and soul of Bengal, because you move Bengal in terms of employment. So I conclude by congratulating Bengal Chamber of Commerce and Industry for inviting me today. আজকে একটি উৎসবের দিন, তাও আমি আপনাদের কাছে এসেছি. Though it's a day of celebration, I'm here with you, and I need to rush very soon because I will be on my way to Shingur very soon for the historic moment when the Supreme Court's directive is carried out by the Honorable Chief Minister to the last T. The farmers will say yes. All over the world, I was looking at the net, whether it's Latin America, within Africa, today is resonation that rights can be held up in a democracy by a Supreme Court judgment, and the government carries it out to the last T. At the same time, in a sense of statesmanship, the Honorable Chief Minister invites all investors, and of course the Tatas in particular. By the way, how many people does Tatas employ in West Bengal, do you know? 40,000. They are the largest employer of the state. And when TCS's campus, which is about to be concluded, is ready in 2-3 months, Tata Group will employ 60,000 people. 28 companies in the state. So in a great sense of statesmanship, he said, on one hand, I will respect for which I put my life at stake. 26 days of hunger strike for the rights of the farmers. And Supreme Court upheld it. At the same time, in the same breath, I invite all investors, including the Tatas, to come and invest. That's the balance of statesmanship you see in Mamata Banerjee. And I'm delighted that I'm here with you today. While we are going to Shingur in an hour, I have come to Bengal Chamber of Commerce and Industry on her behalf to welcome you and invite you to invest more in Bengal. Take Bengal to a new trajectory of the #1 position in the country which held at one time. Why not the #1 position in the years ahead? Thank you very much. Namaskar. Dhanyavad.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Words fail us, but that positivism has spread all around. Thank you so much, Dr. Amit Mitra. We have a very pleasant duty now to perform. May we request our President, Mr. Ambarish Dasgupta, and President-designate, Mr. Shrutanu Ghosh, to present mementos to the Honorable Minister and to Mr. Craig Hall, Consul General.
If I may intervene for 1 second. Ambarish Babu tells me, out of the top 4 districts in the country, in terms of per capita consumption and earning, 3 are from this state, Nadia, North Chobbish Pargana and Hooghly. So that's again an additional data on your table. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
A memento to our Honorable Finance Minister from Mr. Ambarish Dasgupta.
Since I cannot take gifts, I can take books. I have to make sure it's a book.
This is for Mr. Craig Hall. We would like to request President-designate Mr. Shrutanu Ghosh to give his closing remarks and vote of thanks.
Dr. Amit Mitra, sir, Honorable Minister Government of West Bengal, thank you very much for gracing our AGM as a chief guest once again. Your wisdom and words of advice are an inspiration to us and reverberate within the confines of this room and beyond. The Chamber pledges its partnership to support your government in the various arenas that was mentioned a while ago and more, and we shall certainly respond to the different areas that you mentioned within 15 days to see which pie we can get a finger on. I sincerely thank our esteemed past presidents, colleagues in the Managing Committee and the various subcommittees, members of the Consular Corps, and all the distinguished guests present here with us today. Our thanks to our Secretariat, Shubhadeep and his energetic band for their unstinted efforts for organizing this AGM and all else. Our thanks to the media of all forms for being with us today, as always. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in according this very hearty vote of thanks to our chief guest, Dr. Amit Mitra, and carry it through with total acclamation.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very, very special thing to unveil to you. A few months back, the President suggested that the Bengal Chamber's rich legacy and umbilical attachment with Kolkata be represented by way of a permanent exhibition in the Chamber premises. And thanks to the efforts of Shoma and Ronojit, who's our creative head, we are here today with the Calcutta Gallery. We wanted to have a different take and kind of really little bit contradict what a certain Mr. Rudyard Kipling had referred to the city as chance directed, chance directed. So our Calcutta Gallery is dedicated to our eternal city, our most favorite Kolkata, and is a pictorial journey down the hallowed pathways of the industrial and business history of Kolkata. The transformation of 3 villages by the Hooghly into a colossal metropolis is fascinating, inspiring, and magical. So may we now request the President and the President-designate of the Bengal Chamber to please escort respected Dr. Amit Mitra and Consul General Hall to the Yule Terrace at the back of the hall for the inauguration of the Calcutta Gallery. May I also request our distinguished guests, the Consul Generals of the other countries, as well as our past presidents and our members of the media, as well as our audience for the day, to please accompany us to the back of the hall.
Once you have seen the exhibition, can I request everybody else who is part of the business session to come back here for the last part, which will be the business session. So if you can please come back.
This is to inform you, the lunch is served at the lounge, which is at the 3rd level. We are on the 1st level, so you'll have to go 2 more levels. The elevator and the staircase are on the right side of this hall. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to commence the business session. Would you please come and take your seats? Thank you very much. We can then proceed for lunch after the business session.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Can we request the non-members? Can we request the non-members to please join for the lunch? And if I may just request the members to be here for half an hour more. Ladies and gentlemen, I have much pleasure in welcoming all of you to this 162nd Annual General Meeting of the Chamber, which I hereby declare open since the requisite quorum is present. Ladies and gentlemen, the notices dated 31st August 2016 convening this AGM have already been sent. A copy of the report of the Bengal Chamber Management, report of independent auditors and accounts for the financial year ended 31st of March 2016 is placed before you. With your permission, I shall take them as read. I would like to inform the members of the appointment of Mr. Anindo Basu and Mr. Pranab Kumar Ghosh of Dotto Ghosh and Associates, Chartered Accountants and the Statutory Auditors of Bengal Chamber as scrutineers to scrutinize the nominations received in connection with the election of the Managing Committee for the year 2016-17 and to give their report thereon. Auditors. The first item on the agenda under ordinary business is to approve and adopt the balance sheet of the Chamber as on 31st of March 2016, the income and expenditure account of the Chamber for the year ended on that date, and the reports of the Managing Committee and the auditors thereon. The signed auditor's report together with balance sheet and income and expenditure is available with you. The annual report for the year ended 31st of August 2016 has been uploaded on www.bengalchamber.com. I would now request Mr. Shubhadeep Ghosh, Director General, to read before you the auditor's report dated 31st of August 2016 on the accounts of the Chamber for the financial year ended 31st of March 2016.
Thank you, sir. Independent Auditor's Report to the members of the Bengal Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Report on the financial statements. We have audited the accompanying financial statements of the Bengal Chamber of Commerce and Industry within brackets association, which comprise the balance sheet as at 31st March 2016, the statement of income and expenditure and cash flow statement for the year then ended, and a summary of the significant accounting policies and other explanatory information. In our opinion, the association has, in all material respects, an adequate internal financial control system over financial reporting, and such internal financial controls over financial reporting were operating effectively as at 31st March 2016. Based on the internal control over financial reporting criteria established by the association, considering the essential components of internal control stated in the guidance note on audit of internal financial controls over financial reporting issued by ICAI. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Shubhadeep. I now propose the following resolution. Resolved that the balance sheet of the Chamber as at 31st of March 2016, the income and expenditure account of the Chamber for the financial year dated 31st of March, ended 31st of March 2016, together with the schedules and notes annexed thereto, the auditor's report to the members and the report of the Managing Committee be and are hereby approved and adopted. Will any member kindly second this resolution? Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mukherjee. Ladies and gentlemen, before putting this resolution to vote, we shall be happy to answer any question or furnish any clarification required by any member present here on the accounts of the Chamber for the financial year ended 31st of March 2016. No questions. Thank you. With your permission, I will now put the resolution to vote. Will those in favor of the resolution kindly raise their hands? Will those against the resolution kindly raise their hands? The no votes against the resolution, I am declaring the resolution carried unanimously. The next item on the agenda under ordinary business is election of the new committee for the year 2016-17. I have received the report of the scrutineers dated 14 September 2016, based on which we are pleased to announce the results of the election of the new managing committee for the year 2016-17. I'm reading from the report. We hereby certify that we have scrutinized the nominations of the Managing Committee of the Bengal Chamber of Commerce and Industry for the year 16-17 and the nominations for the post of President, President Designate, Senior Vice President and Vice President of the Chamber. We have found that all the nominations are in order and were received by the Chamber within the stipulated deadline of 24th August 2016. We report that the results are as under. President, only one nomination by Mr. Shutanu Ghosh has been filed, hence Mr. Shutanu Ghosh is hereby declared elected unopposed. Congratulations. President Designate. Only one nomination by Mr. Chandrasekhar Ghosh has been filed, hence Mr. Chandrasekhar Ghosh is hereby declared elected unopposed. Senior Vice President, only one nomination by Mr. Indrajit Sen has been filed, hence Mr. Indrajit Sen is hereby declared elected unopposed. Congratulations, Mr. Sen. Vice President, only one nomination by Mr. Bishwabihari Chatterjee has been filed, hence Mr. Bishwabihari Chatterjee is hereby declared elected unopposed. Congratulations. Since the total number of nominations filed is less than the total number of seats in the committee, all the candidates who have filed nominations are hereby declared elected unopposed. The following are the names of the elected members of the committee: Mr. Dev Mukherjee, Mr. Gopal Krishna Sharan, Mr. Pulak Chamaria, Mr. Kaushik Roy, Mr. Indranil Dasgupta, Major General Dr. A.C. Jain, Mr. Dulal Mukherjee, Mr. Shurojit Nag, Mr. Arun Kumar Mukherjee, Mr. A. Mandal, Mr. Abraham Stephanas, Mr. Raghav Kanoria, Mr. Vivek Gupta, Mr. Sanjeev Paul, Mr. Subroto Dotto, Mr. R.N. Lahiri, Mr. Arno Basu, Mr. Amitabh Guha Sarkar, Mr. Ramashankar Jhawar, Mr. Sanjeev Kumar Patwari, Mr. Simarpreet Singh, Mr. Sushil Mota, Mr. Nadeem Kazim, Mr. Deepnarayan Mitra, Mr. Nazi Warif, Mr. Pallav Gupta, Mr. Rajendranath Ghoshal, Mr. Devkumar Basu, Mr. Obijit Roy, Mr. Hiraknarayan Sengupta, Mr. Admiral Anil Kumar Varma, Mr. Timir Barun Chatterjee, Dr. Gautam Sengupta, Mr. John Numazar Mehta, Mr. Rajat Mukhar Banerjee, Mr. Chiranjeev Bhattacharya, Dr. Shankar Sengupta, Mr. Pradeep Bhaumik, Dr. Rupali Basu, Mr. Devashish Jana, Mr. Taposh Banerjee, Mr. Subroto Bakchi, Mr. Subroto Paul, Mr. Subroto Roy, Mr. Pralay Kumar Ghosh, all 45 in number. I congratulate all of them. Thank you. I, on my behalf and on behalf of the outgoing Managing Committee, congratulate all the newly elected members of the Managing Committee and offer our best wishes to them. Ladies and gentlemen, the next item on the agenda under ordinary business relates to ratification and reappointment of auditors for the year ended 31st of March 2017 and their remuneration. I propose the following resolution. Resolved to ratify the reappointment of Messrs. Dotto Ghosh and Associates Chartered Accountants who are appointed for 5 years term commencing from the financial year 14-15 pursuant to the provision of section 139 of the Companies Act 2013 as statutory auditors of the Chamber for the financial year ending 31st of March 2017 on existing terms and conditions, and to hold such office until the conclusion of the next AGM at a remuneration of rupees 1 lakh only. Will any member kindly second this resolution? Thank you very much. With your permission, I will now put the resolution to vote. Will those in favor of the resolution kindly raise their hands? Will those against the resolution kindly raise their hands? The resolution carried out unanimously. Mr. Dev Mukherjee, may I request you to chair request the chair for permission to put the vote of thanks.
May I, with your permission, President, and on behalf of the members of the Managing Committee, of the outgoing Managing Committee, we would like to register our deepest appreciation to the President for the outstanding work and the leadership he has shown during the last year. There is continuity in what he has done. There will be continuity. There will be a new order that now comes into shape. However, the legacy of the chamber and the work that he has carried out will be carried on by our incoming president, who has already set the tone for the year. May I, on behalf of the Managing Committee, thank Mr. Ambarish Dasgupta, the President-designate, Mr. Shutanu Ghosh, and all the members of the Managing Committee, outgoing Managing Committee, and particularly the Secretariat, under the leadership of Mr. Shubhodip Ghosh, who had tirelessly worked to bring all the glory and continue the glory of the chamber going forward. Thank you very much, Mr. Dasgupta, for all your work. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the business of this 162nd AGM being over, I declare the meeting is concluded. I request the newly elected members of the Managing Committee to please join for the first committee meeting for the year 16-17 in the ITC room, first floor. Thank you very much.
Before that, may I just take a second? Can I request my colleagues to please come up on the stage, please? We are finishing 1 year, but we would just like to say thank you to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I will be with you, be with the chamber always, and let's take it to the new heights with Shukanuda and Shubhodip. Thank you.
Thank you.